Hello, and thanks for viewing this Prophecy dispatch video. This is going to be a general overview of the system. If you'd like a more specific demonstration for your company, please contact your account manager. First, I'm going to go through the two different dispatch boards in a high-level overview, explaining some of the terminology and the user-definable things you can do, and then I'm going to build a load and simply bring it through the system for you. I'm on the pending load board right now. Pending loads are loads in my system I've already set up. They're just not assigned to anybody yet. If I go left to right on any of these boards I'm about to show you, there's all sorts of columns available. Each user can decide what they want to see. You show only the columns they want to see, and it's by user ID. The assigned board, these are loads that have been assigned to drivers. The in-route board, these are loads that have been picked up. The active load board, these are loads that are active, all three categories above that. These can be pending, assigned, or en route. The completed board, these are loads that are completed or delivered. There's a date range on top of each board. You can select that date range from any of these options here. There's a frequent load board that allows you to copy loads over and over at any number of copies you want to make as well. You can split your board. Show two categories at once, any two you want. This is all up to the user. So that's the dispatch board. Again, that's a very high-level overview. Now I'm going to jump over to our other dispatch screen, which we call the load scheduler. It's a lot of the same information. It just looks totally different. What you're seeing over here on the left are my pending loads in a list form. As I drag my mouse, you can see a little bit more detail about each load. You can drill into it more if you want as well. There's all my drivers in the middle, and on the right half of the screen is all my current activity for 1 week for these drivers. And you don't need to do 1 week. You can do any of these options you see up top, whatever works for the operation or for the individual user. So as I go top to bottom here explaining what's happening, driver Adams, he has a red X under the letter L telling me his license has expired. So those are some of the warnings you're going to see here. Big red X, big red bar going across the grid. I would not be able to use this driver. We're also going to warn on P for physical or medical, I for insurance if any owner-operators have their own insurance, M for maintenance. If this driver is hooked to some equipment that requires maintenance, you're going to get a warning. H for hours of service. We have several integrations to several ELDs, which I'll talk a little bit more about. Sliding down here to BAS. These different color codes mean different things. This guy's en route. Look in the little flyover here. He's supposed to deliver in Dallas at 12:30, and then he's pre-assigned on his next load already. You can schedule out as far as you want. You have that luxury. You can change things, of course, as well. Slide down further to this driver, Beckett. Same thing. He's on a load supposed to deliver at 12:30. Then he's assigned on his next load. Jumping down here to this driver, T. Brown. He's on a load to San Antonio for 3 p.m. today. He has got nothing scheduled after that. So I'm going to go to the left-hand side of my screen as I'm going over there. Just make a quick mental note of this 1860. I'll explain that in a second. This driver's going to San Antonio. Here's all my available loads. Towards the bottom, I have one that picks up in San Antonio to go to Chicago. As soon as I click on it, that 1860 will change to a 0. That's telling me this driver will be 0 miles away from that load. This is the proximity column. How far all my drivers are from the load that I am clicked on the left-hand side. It changes instantaneously with each click over here on the left. And you can actually sort by that column to see who might be closest if you wanted to. I'm going to now take this load from San Antonio to Chicago. I'm going to assign it to that driver. All I need to do is click, drag, and drop. Real simple. I'm going to go ahead and fill in the schedule. So he's on this load now, supposed to deliver at 3 in San Antonio, and then he's pre-assigned on his next load already. Jumping down here, you can block off vacation time on this schedule, so you don't assign drivers on certain days they may not be working. You're seeing some yellow warnings versus some red warnings. Yellow is telling me something's coming due versus a red that is overdue. As far as the hours of service column goes, as I mentioned, we integrate to several different ELDs. What you're going to see here is when you click on a load on the left, it's going to tell you immediately which drivers are okay to take that load and which ones may not be okay to take that load. So in this particular case, You're seeing a little green square with a gray bubble inside, and these guys are okay to take these loads, and it gives you a quick little summary. Jumping up to the one in yellow, this driver's not okay to take this load, and here's why. In this particular case, tells you right across the top there, you can't get to the first stop of the load on time. So the yellow X in the settings would allow the assignment to take place. You could also set this up to be red, which would not allow the assignment to take place. Let's go ahead and create a load from scratch now. Once again, if you're copying loads, you can do that. We're going to create one from scratch. Top left-hand corner, book new. You can enter what you want on these screens for the most part. I'm going to enter a customer by typing in a few letters. Brings the customer ID in. Also, with our 2A integration to QuickBooks, you see this information being populated. You could set up credit warnings and credit holds on people if you wish. First location is a pickup location. Type in a few letters. Brings all the information in from the database. If, for some reason, you only want to use a zip code, you can keep it simple. Zip code will auto-populate the city for you, and you can build loads on that very simple information. You can also add new locations on the fly by clicking that button. I'm going to go ahead and add a destination or delivery. In my pull-down menu, I have a pickup in Bloomfield, Connecticut, a delivery to Milwaukee. You can add as many stops as you need to, or pickups. In the middle section, if you want to fill this in, you certainly do not have to. You can create a list of goods that you haul, and you can fill in whichever fields you'd like. You can also leave it completely blank. Up to the top in the middle where it says rate, depending on how you rate your loads, it'll fill in the bottom. I am going to want to throw some dates in here so I don't get that message. I'm typing. I mean, you can type or you can double-click your mouse like I'm doing here. And just use our little calendar. So I put a scheduled pickup and delivery date in there now. I'm going to re-rate the load. Based on however you set up your customer rates, or if you spot quote as well, that's what's going to populate in the bottom. And this is all how you set it up. In this particular case, for this customer, for this lane, I have a flat contracted rate. The miles will come in automatically. Our mileage system is built in here. The preset rate was $1,500. I'm also running a 37% fuel surcharge this week. Again, these are preset rates based on what I've set up in the background. If you're spot quoting or negotiating each load, you can simply come down here and type in a dollar amount. You don't need to break out fuel. You can create any descriptions you want. You can add any kind of charge you want on the fly, or you can automate it. You can create whatever you want as for what we call revenue types. We can do any kind of automated billing, whether it's a preset flat, per mile, per ton, per pallet, per piece, per hundred, anything that can be calculated we can do. I'm going to go ahead and save my load. It's going to auto-assign a load number. Top left, 13653. Also right there, 13653. It's an automatic numbering system. You can start it wherever you want. It'll go on forever. It becomes your invoice number. It also will become your number in QuickBooks receivables by the time we're done. If you want to fill in any other number fields, you can do that as well. I could assign a driver right now, but I'm not going to. I'm going to go ahead and show you where it ends up on the pending load board. Right there. It also ends up on this screen if you're going to use this screen. Towards the bottom there, there's the load. We already did an assignment on this screen, so let me just show you the other screen. Everything's a right click. It's very simple. Right click, assign. You're going to go ahead and pick your driver from your list of drivers. You're going to see any potential conflicts here as well, expirations, that sort of thing. So I picked my driver. His equipment came with him. You can assign the equipment independently if you wish. I'm going to calculate his pay. This happens to be an owner-operator, getting paid percentage of revenue. But just like the billing side, we can create whatever you want here on the pay side, per mile and percentage are the most popular, but we can preset flat rates and other things as well. Now an assigned load on my assigned board. Also, if your coworker's on this screen, the grid is filled in over here. So it updates immediately. If the driver calls and loaded, or a lot of what I'm showing you right now can be automated through many of our ELD integrations, but I'm going to go ahead and do the manual process. I'm going to make him en route at 10:47 a.m. Becomes an en route load throughout the system. Last check-in, last city, last state is right there. Once again, whatever you see here will be up to you. You can log in daily check calls if you want. Again, a lot of this can be automated through ELD integration. I'm going to go ahead and make this a completed load. The manual way, it's going to jump onto the completed board right there. From the completed screen, it also goes over to the billing screen automatically. So we'll jump over there real quick. There in the bottom is the load we just did, 13653. It's telling me it's incomplete. Specifically, that means the paperwork needed to build this load is not yet in the system. There's several ways we can get in there. I'm going to go ahead and do it one way right now. You can physically scan documents from a scanner right into the load if you'd like. There's my load number. There's my customer. Or I can attach documents that come in from emails or other ways. Or if you do a big batch scan, click, drag, and drop. Identify what it is. I just attached the bill of lading right there to that load number, to that customer. We also have several integrations available for mobile imaging. You can see that change from incomplete to okay. The system recognized whatever's required is now in the system. You can go down to the bottom, check the rates. Are they accurate? Do you need to add something? You can still do all that. Make sure everything's in order. If you need to change or modify those numbers or even add them, you can do that here. You can put notes here. Show up on the invoice. If everything looks good, you check the audit box. You might go through the rest for the day. Audit, audit, audited, audited. The ones that are okay to be billed, you hit print. There's 30 to 40 different layouts of invoices in the system. You can select what you want. You can also default certain ones for certain customers. Your logo will appear everywhere throughout the system. This is just one layout that I use. So you can see all the itemized charges. There's no retyping in there. If I scroll down, you can print all these off, or you can do a rendition email, which will generate emails for your customers. The email will send off the invoices with the required documents to the customers. The required documents only. I just got this from as a customer. If I open up this freight bill that we just processed, 13653 is right there. We just ran that one through the system. And then there's a documentation that I attached. And I'm the customer, I already have it that quickly. So whether you print or you email, you close down this window, it's going to ask you that everything print okay. And then everything you just audited or verified and then printed or emailed, you're going to hit post. It's going to remove itself from the screen, and it's going to be on its way, in this case, to QuickBooks receivables. It removed itself from the screen. If you notice, it's gone from the bottom. It's not out of the system by any stretch. It's just gone from the screen. This screen shows me loads that are delivered but not yet billed. Moving on to driver settlements. These can be done for payroll and owner-operator. This is the load we just did. His pay has been calculated. He happens to be an owner-operator. I'm gonna go ahead and do some deductions, some miscellaneous deductions. You can create whatever you want here. I have a few standards that come out. Also, if he's using my fuel card, I'm going to manually put in a fuel purchase. However, these can be imported through your fuel cards, through our fuel card manager. In this case, because it is an owner-operator, this would come out of his pay. Typically would not for a payroll driver. So I've got the driver, I've got his pay, I've got some deductions. Again, this is a high-level overview. Go ahead and select all your drivers. Print off your settlement sheets, and there's different things you can show on here versus not show on here. In this particular case, for this driver, he did 2 loads this week. It itemizes each load. It gives you the pay for each load, and again, the level of detail will be up to you. As I scroll down, it summarizes. Took a fuel advance, taking that back. This particular case, escrow payment, he's got $1,000 as his balance. taking a truck loan, paid me 9 times, owes me 51 more payments. Trailer rental, again, these can be whatever you want. So down the bottom, it'll summarize everything, total earnings, a couple minuses in there. If there were any reimbursements, they would be in there as well. Print all these off, post over to QuickBooks, in this case, a payable. We also could post over to payroll. And let's just show you what happened in QuickBooks. So there is one more step to get items over there. There's little check boxes in there. Simply means there's some activity. This has already been set up way ahead of time. Every item will be mapped out to where you want it in QuickBooks. So on a day-to-day, you're just doing this. Jumping over to QuickBooks. Here's my aging report. We just billed PTSI. There at the bottom is 13653, the load we just processed. I can zoom in here. You will get a QuickBooks looking invoice here, typically as a reference because you're going to use one of the invoices out of Prophesy. You will receive, by design, you will receive your cash in QuickBooks, which also can update in Prophesy. And sent an owner-operator payment over right there. There's this pay, 4,024, matches the bottom of that settlement sheet. Also, if I want to just drill down to see some detail, there it is. Again, everything gets mapped out to where you want it to go. And you can pay your, in this case, pay your owner-operators right out of here. As I mentioned, we can also send over payroll transactions into the payroll module if you are using it. There's a list of my payroll drivers. I have some transactions sitting in there. We didn't just process any, though. That is it. Thanks for watching. I do urge you, if you would like a more detailed, specific demonstration to your operation, to please let us know. Thank you very much.